tubes.
All right.
And then turn on audio.
While I art direct my bangs. Okay.
Okay. All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, we're live on YouTube. Turn this on, so I back that up.
Do you have like chat on YouTube? Like, do people go like interact with you guys on the YouTube stream or?
It's there,
Facebook
but
sometimes.
But I would do Facebook, but I've been just like kind of been. I need to do some more video stuff. I've been kind of.
I do too.
Lax.
I've been taken to task for not being better at doing more video because I have apparently the hard part down of just like it doesn't freak you out to sit in front of a camera and talk. So you've got it covered. You just need to go record some stuff and get it out there. So.
Oh my God, audio hijack crashed. Can't
what?
do that. How could I do that? All right, it's back.
That's not a thing. Yeah.
Well, they just updated it, so.
Oh, okay, then maybe.
It's fully M1 compatible now.
Oh, hurrah!
All right, let me pull up my notes. We're at episode 132. All right, we're ready. Are you guys ready?
Woo!
I know.
130.
132.
I'm muting everything.
Oh. All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 132 of Untitled iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. How you doing, Warren?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
We're hanging in there. It's been an extremely busy week because we had lots of things to talk about. We did talk yesterday, and it was crazy. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to welcome back to the show Ms. Kelly Dumont from the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast. How you doing, Kelly?
Good, David. How are you?
Doing great. Great. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So I figure this would be a great week to talk about CES 2021 because there was lots of things that were announced.
So many things.
And it was just too exciting. And we all had our views, and that's why we'll have 3 different views of what we saw this week during the show this week. It was virtual, of course, which was even more interesting. We'll get into that. As well as we've got lots of news stories, tips, and apps as we have time here. So let's just go jump right into the news this week. And first story I have is on Mac Rumors. Roku acquired rights to that wonderful service that really did really well, Quibi, the content, for less than $100 million. Roku reportedly paid less than $100 million, which cracks me up, to acquire the rights to Quibi's library of just high-quality original content until 2022. Quibi was a very short-form video subscription service, and I should say short-lived, that executives believe that would garner more than 7.4 million subscribers. Boy, that fell massively short for that reason. Well,
if we didn't live in the darkest timeline, it was distinct. It was a far more realistic possibility when they launched at the end of February than it was by the time everybody got a hold of it at the end of March when everyone had to stay home. Because their whole point was like, you're out and about and you're commuting and you're standing on the subway and you can watch like 5 minutes worth of a TV show. And like, on paper, it sounded awesome until nobody had commutes.
Right. COVID. But interesting. Go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
There was no real killer show.
Right.
That was their problem too. If they would have had like something that people were interested in, at least one thing, it might have, but they didn't hook anybody into it.
And they also
I tried a few things.
They didn't let anybody talk about it either. Like you couldn't take a screenshot of anything within the app. Initially the video was only vertical, so you could only watch it on your phone, and nobody wanted to sit in front of a phone any more than they had to when they were home. Right. And there was a podcast. I remember reading a story about a podcast that was like, we are 100% here for this. All we want to do is talk about like the new stuff we saw on Quibi, and we want to talk about like the new shows that have been announced and and Quibi shut them down. Was like, you can't talk about all of our stuff like that. No.
What's the point?
Yeah. So there's been like it seemed like every time they had an opportunity to maybe like turn things around, they made a consciously confusing decision.
The app still works, by the way. I still have the app on my phone. I should probably get rid of it.
Yeah, I deleted it. But interesting thing is Roku, which is probably one of the biggest streaming media player in the United States, has a big library of 40,000 movies, TV shows, and all that stuff. I guess it will boost some stuff on Roku because it'll add 175 shows and documentaries. So it's gonna be interesting to see where Roku goes with this because they've got a lot of content, and I just bought another. Of course, I have to have another streaming device because I have at least 10. I'm exaggerating, but so I bought the Roku, the Roku Extreme, the not too terribly expensive. I mean, that's the cool thing about them. They're cheap. I mean, $39 or $25, whatever it was. And they do have a pretty decent interface. And I think they just want to add to their content and just continue to evolve with it. So, I think Roku's probably going to do good things with this. But again, like we said, its content is, yeah. All right, let's move on. And the next story was Apple and Hyundai, the car manufacturer, hope to reach a deal for an Apple car by March, which they say here. This was on 9 to 5 Mac. Hopefully doing a production in 2024. I find that hard to believe, but okay. More details emerged about Apple's alleged interest in working on a self-driving electric car in partnership with Hyundai Motor. Report from a local newspaper in Korea today suggested that Hyundai and Apple plan to sign a partnership deal by March of this year. Again, this is all rumor. That they did confirm that there were talks with the Apple and Hyundai, the potential deal, but I think that Apple's definitely going to be diving into this. That they really want to get into this market, and with CarPlay and getting into cars and expanding their horizons. So, Warren, what'd you think of this?
I mean, it could mean anything. The partnership could be anything from just a part of the car to most of the car. My initial thought was Hyundai, really? I mean, out of all the car companies out there, I heard rumors more of a BMW sounds to be like more of a thing because they have the thing now with the keyless car for the BMW. It's a better, it's kind of a better brand. Just I've never had a good experience even renting Hyundai, so I don't like the car. But
yeah, I owned a Hyundai. I owned a Hyundai Excel from like 30 years ago. So when they first got into the U.S. market. I driven in one. It had no floor. Like my feet would basically touch the ground. In fact, it was a stick, and I had never driven stick before in my life, and I scared the heck out of my buddy sitting in the back seat, and the salesman was like, "What are you doing?" But I ended up learning stick, and I got to enjoy driving stick for a few years. So
they're not good cars.
What'd you think, Kelly?
Well, I think there's a bunch that's interesting about this. Partly like. I know Apple's not really a fan of relying on another manufacturer for a vital piece of their machinery. You may want to look at the latest iteration of MacBook Pro for what Apple does in those sorts of cases. Intel Who, I think, is what we call that. So part of what's interesting in this to me is I wonder what it is they're trying to do. And I think, sort of to Warren's point about it being Hyundai, I wonder if maybe it's because they would have a little more sway with somebody like Hyundai than they would with somebody like Honda or like BMW, who's going to go, we know what we're doing. You need to back up. And maybe they would have a little more sway with somebody like Hyundai, who's not like who's not like a top auto brand, particularly in the United States, because I assume that's where this is going to end up. But the thing that's interesting is, so Brian Chaffin over at Mac Observer has been an Apple car nerd, such as that is, for many, many years. Like I've helped him prowl through LinkedIn looking for people, that used to work at an auto place that work at Apple now and different things. So like, and we've been looking to see like what the hiring looks like and different stuff like that. And one of the things that he said the other day when we talked about this on Daily Observations that really struck me was, if Apple's not making a car the way we think about cars now, if Apple is making a passenger delivery service, that's a very different thing. And in that case, like Apple can rewrite the rules for, Apple can make the rules for whatever that looks like if we haven't seen it already. And so like him saying passenger delivery device was the part that made me really stop and think about it again. Like maybe there is something to that. That might be like, that's a very different proposition than, I need a new car. I can buy an Audi. I can buy a Subaru. I can buy a BMW. I can buy an Apple car. Like that's a very, very different prospect than like, I'm not necessarily interested in driving. I'm interested in, occasionally opening an app on my phone, like, Lyft style. Like if 100% of your transportation comes from Lyft, like I need somebody right now to take me from here to there. And then when I'm done there, I'll need somebody to take me from there home. And that's it. Like that's a very different business model. That's a very different proposition. That's a very different experience as far as like how transportation operates at that point. So I'm interested in this after hearing Brian's take on it. So Brian will be happy to hear that. Like he's got a convert. I don't know how realistic any of the timelines are because every time one of these rumors makes the rounds, the timeline's different. So I don't know anything about the timeline, but I am sort of curious about how, like what the deal looks like if there's a deal to be had with Hyundai at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, definitely for sure. So I would venture to say probably it's gonna be towards the end of this end of this decade here. I think it's going to be 2027, 28, probably towards the end here. So definitely gonna be interesting, but I still want CarPlay.
Not anytime soon.
No, I want CarPlay. That's all I care about right now. And my car doesn't have CarPlay, so I need it.
Neither is mine, but my car self-drives. So.
Yeah, but you're a Tesla, so.
Yeah. I don't. My car is like mad every time I get a phone. The Bluetooth in my car is mad at it in a different way, and so like every time I get a new phone, it's like, okay, how are you two not going to work together this time around? And I would rather just like, even if it's, plugging in a cable, like when I get in the car, even just doing that would, if I could do that and just let the car and the phone work themselves out, that would be perfection. I would be so happy.
CarPlay, I'm jealous. I have CarPlay envy for sure.
I do too. And then a couple of stories that actually just got released today as we're recording this. Netflix is reportedly testing spatial audio with the AirPods Pro and the AirPods Pro Max. Netflix reportedly is quietly testing iOS 14's new spatial audio functionality, according to a report from iPhone Soft. Citing an anonymous Netflix developer, the company has been testing the spatial audio support on the iPhone and iPad since December. So there's really not much else you could say about this other than I think that the fact that Netflix is looking into this, I think this is pretty cool because to be able to hear it in spatial audio and go like this, oh, where am I? You'd be able to do that. And of course, for those of you who don't know what spatial audio is, it's an exclusive feature to AirPods, AirPods Pro and the AirPods Pro Max. And it can be toggled in the control center, and it gives you an immersive experience. And believe me, it is very immersive. It's really cool. So, Kylie, what'd you think of this?
I'm interested because it's one of those things that sort of makes me realize that like other places care about audio quality as well. This is that's part of what I'm interested in with this. I saw so many people at CES, like my brain got full like Monday afternoon and just stayed there. So and I didn't even get to go like full on with it. But I did talk to somebody who said that they were looking at spatial audio because there were video games that were starting to come out with some spatial audio, and that the audio quality, now that the video quality is stellar in a lot of video games, like top tier titles all look beautiful. Then now that the video quality is up there, like getting the audio quality up there is like the next thing that they're working on. And so seeing spatial audio sort of become trendy, like I'm interested in that because it also means that they're doing a much better job of like mastering that audio, making sure it's clear, making sure it's audible, making sure like if there's music but also someone talking or there's a lot of background, that you could still hear the person talking, in the middle of the show or whatever. And I'm definitely interested in that because I kind of always want things to sound better. So I'm looking forward to this becoming a thing that more companies are taking part in, and I hope that other places figure out good ways to interact with spatial audio, and that lots of people can have headphones that will do spatial audio for them and just make the world a nicer audio place to be.
Absolutely. And then I did mention that Apple TV Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus already support the spatial audio. So Netflix is going to add to that collection here. Warren, did you have any thoughts on this?
Just as we were talking, I got in the mail today an Oculus Quest.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you can bring that up
too. Yeah. But I mean, and they have Netflix, and it's compatible with the AirPods. So I'm wondering, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, do spatial audio and being doing Oculus. Woo, you'd be lucky.
That would
be trippy.
Yeah. So that's the only other thought I have about it is cool. I watched a couple of the nature shows on the Apple TV with it, and it's neat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Planet Earth and.
Yep.
All right, let's go on. Another story just got actually just announced within the last hour. Was that about an hour or so ago? Apple is planning to bring music and podcast app to the Microsoft Store. Well, of course, we aren't a huge Microsoft fan here, right? But I thought this was interesting. According to 9 to 5 Mac, but this is Mac rumors. They are going to bring the music and podcast app to the Microsoft Store, according to reports, citing unnamed sources, of course. Apple is allegedly testing music and podcast app in that platform in a private beta for right now. No word yet as far as it's going to be compatible. When it will be compatible with Windows PCs, or of course they may even consider adding it to the Xbox consoles. But no, this is good because Apple is actually continues to expand, adding their apps to different platforms, whether it be a smart TV or in this case, the Microsoft Store. Microsoft Store is an interesting beast. I work with it all the time for work, and it's definitely interesting to see how it goes. I knew they had iTunes in there before, so isn't anything new. So, what'd you think, Kelly?
I think the Xbox is the hook on this. I think if the Microsoft Store is the same store across all of their platforms, then it's definitely Xbox. I think, like, getting to listen to your podcast while you're doing other stuff on your Xbox or whatever. That feels like the sweet spot for this. But I think it may also just be more recognition that a lot of people have an iPhone or an iPad and a work machine, like a work PC, instead of a work Mac. Right. I mean, we see a lot of that in the enterprise, but there's still, like, it's still loads and loads and loads and loads of Windows machines, like, that people use at work. Whether you have a Mac at home or not. But if it's your work machine, like, to be able to sign in and listen to Apple Music
right
on your work PC, or listen to a podcast on your work PC, and then be able to pick it up on your phone later or on your iPad later or whatever. I think that would have a lot of appeal. And I think the only thing that surprises me, it doesn't surprise me that they would do it. It surprises me that there's enough appeal there for it to be a thing that they're doing. That was really the only part that surprised me. Like, I know there's people out there that do it, but I didn't realize it would be enough for Apple to pay attention to and make a move like this. So that's very interesting.
Very interesting. Any thoughts on this one?
I mean, I remember they moved iTunes from a 64-bit to the App Store.
Installer to the App Store, yeah.
They did the same thing with iCloud about a year ago. So the iCloud for Windows was a downloadable thing. Now it's in the Microsoft App Store. And they're pretty much just, the same as they were with the 64 installer. So the interesting thing is there's still a current iTunes out there for
Windows.
For Windows, and it's not sunsetted yet. So I think Apple doesn't like that. I think they want people to forget the word iTunes permanently.
Sorry.
What iTunes? There was never an iTunes.
Yeah, what was that? All right, and then the last story, this was actually in Apple's newsroom, and I just want to briefly mention this. I don't want to get into a major debate about this, but I thought this is it's important to at least talk about. Apple had Tim Cook had announced that there was going to be a big major announcement earlier this week on CBS this morning, and then this is what this was. It was Apple was launching a major new racial Equality and Justice Initiative project to challenge the systematic racism and advance and racial equality nationwide. They've committed to a $100 million pledge that includes its first-of-a-kind education hub as in creating an Apple Developer Academy in Detroit, Michigan, which is really cool. And without getting into too much detail, I think this is a great thing that Apple's doing. They want to make sure that we're staying promoting equality with everybody, and we all should be equal, being able to do what we want to be able to do in this world. And I think this is just a great initiative that Apple put into place with this. And there's a full news release on this on Apple's newsroom site here. Yeah. But I thought, Kelly, give me a brief what you think about this.
I was for it because this is a follow-on to I think it was last June that Apple said, we're putting $100 million into the Racial Equality and Justice Initiative. That's totally a thing that's happening. And that was basically it, like at the time. And so this is just sort of the second phase of that announcement. This is what we're doing. This is where the money's going. This is this is the outcome we desire from having done these things. And the way they went about it, I thought was interesting, because one of the things that they did was they gave money specifically to like VC firms that primarily their investments go to invest in companies that are more diverse, and that's awesome. And so the way that this was I really liked about this is that it wasn't just a banner on a website, and it wasn't just Tim Cook released a statement or anything like that. It was, this is what we said we were going to do this, and now this is what the implementation looks like. Check this out. Here's this thing. Here's this other thing. And here's the plan. And so I really liked that it was a follow up to what they had already said that they were doing and what it looks like. And the buildings look cool, and the opportunities that are going to be available that weren't available before, I think are going to be great. And I really look forward to what comes out of that, because more people with more ideas is going to always make, the App Store interesting. It's going to make better stuff for my phone, all that kind of stuff, on sort of a selfish level. I can't wait to see what kind of creativity we get out of those, because there will be a new game I can't stop playing, or the new great app that helps me remember everything and get through the day or whatever. And it's going to be great. So, I mean, I have a soft spot because of App Camp. So this is very much this is something like this where we're giving people an opportunity that they wouldn't have had otherwise is very near and dear to my heart. So seeing this also just made me happy in that way as well.
Absolutely. Do you have any thoughts on this, Warren?
Yeah, I mean, you can't say anything really, bad about it. It's a good thing.
No, not at all.
I mean, if there's any bad thing about it, and somebody on a podcast was talking about it today, I forget which one, but they're concentrating on training, underprivileged people, Apple coding, Apple development mostly. Right. That's what they're pushing. And part of it is there's other coding out there. There's other platforms out there that's not just Apple that could make money too. So Apple has, kind of a slight interest to do this, because, you're going to make more people Apple fans, more into the ecosystem, more people, and more things available for it. It's just something to keep the platform alive. So, you could criticize a little bit that maybe they should just say, we're teaching, coding and development in general. But they kind of emphasize the Apple part. But other than that, I it's a good thing. We saw the mock-up of the buildings, and they were really cool. And
looks like it's going to be an amazing facility. So I'm pretty happy about this. So
hopefully they'll be able to go there.
One of the programs was, one of the programs was entrepreneurship, which isn't necessarily an Apple slant. And so there were some other business classes and things like that they were talking about too, that were going to be part of the initiative. So not all of it is just, we're going to make you Apple developers, which was the other part of it I thought was kind of nice. I know that's what the primary point of the center in Detroit is going to be, but some of the other stuff that they were doing wasn't necessarily even tech related. And that was another thing that I thought was really nice that they were doing.
Right. So. I wouldn't come out and say, I want, we're going to teach you Apple development and Google coding, but, just, just more just, that they have an interest in doing this too, because it's good for them in the long run. But they didn't have to do any of it, so it's all good.
No, all good. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to topics this week. We always open up with beta. Beta this week is iOS 14.4 beta 2 just got released. I believe it was just yesterday as we record. And there are some notes here that they haven't really introduced much. One thing, we've got some links in the show notes to Mac Rumors, some of the stuff they found. If it's paired with a HomePod, the 14.4 beta will only be available in a limited number of testers. You'll be able to. They've added some new HomePod Mini functionality that takes advantage of that U1 chip that's in the HomePod Mini. Now they have visual, audio, and haptic effects when songs are transferred from the HomePod Mini to an U1 enabled iPhone 11 or iPhone 12. And when the iPhone is near, the HomePod Mini will begin its soft haptic touch rhythm that gets faster and faster as the iPhone gets closer to the interface. That's kind of cool. So actually when the iPhone gets closer to the HomePod Mini, it'll start. The rhythm will go faster, and it'll get until it fully transfers the song over. I kind of like that. That's kind of neat.
That's kind of nifty. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've added that. They've added that, and then this functionality will also make handoff quicker and more reliable on the HomePod Mini and the 11 or 12 as well. So this is good stuff. And then they also mentioned in the workout section of the Apple Watch app, on the iPhone, there's a new time to walk feature that includes a toggle to add newest workouts to watch. So the watch will have some of that stuff. Warren, you've already updated all your devices. I know that because you are the beta man.
I was getting nervous. It was like a month.
Yeah, we kept talking about it. It's like you're back in your beta withdrawal.
Well, being on the same release as all the other Yahoos out there makes me a little nervous. But it all, as I told you yesterday, if you told me I didn't put it on, I wouldn't know. I see literally zero difference in how it's responding. So the thing with the HomePod transfer is cool, and we said it before. Apple is trying to, and it's good. Apple wants you to be able to listen to something in your bedroom, walk downstairs with your phone, and have that transfer all the way to wherever's downstairs, whatever's playing HomePod's out there, and then into your car. It just follows you. So that's a future where for some reason, whatever you listen to will follow you throughout life. So that's what they're getting to right now.
Yeah. And then the other thing I did mention in here too is there's an update since this article was posted that it includes a new setting to specify a device type for a third-party Bluetooth connected audio device, so the headphone audio level measurements can be taken correctly. And then Apple tracks headphone audio. Yeah, they track audio levels in the headphones to send alerts if music is playing at a level that is potentially damaging to someone's hearing. So if you go in, there's a screenshot in here, you go into the headphone, in this case it was a Sony headphone here, you go to the device type and you can set it, whether it's be a car stereo, a headphone, a hearing aid, a speaker, or other. So it was set to headphone, and then now it'll adjust. So that's kind of neat that they did that too. And then the other thing too was there was a separate article that they said they will be introducing a warning on iPhones with non-genuine cameras. So that must mean if someone has gone into and done a repair of their iPhone and used an aftermarket component rather than a genuine Apple component.
Okay.
So they always got to protect their, that's
sure. They did
the
same thing with the battery, right?
Yeah.
They put a warning with the battery replacement.
Yeah. So that's all repair stuff, but Apple Watch, I didn't see too much. Did you see anything exciting on that? I don't think so. And then the tvOS, I don't think there was much either. But we got links in the show notes for both of those. So unless you had any other things that you saw, Warren.
Nothing. Yeah, I'm surprised the final release didn't come out this week. So it'll probably be next week for everybody.
I think it's got to be close. I mean, it just seems like it. They've been very slow with it. So. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about CES 2021. It was quite an interesting event. From everybody, if everybody does recall that those of you who listen, that in 2020, CES 2020 was my very first the very first in-person CES. So I had something to measure against for this year. So that was an absolute blast on what I experienced last year. So this is definitely a different experience, I must say. And the media events, there's always the two big media events. If anybody's not aware of it, if you're not in media, that's PepCom and Showstoppers. And both those events were awesome. I was very actually impressed how they handled things virtually. They were a bit more personal in those events, so we could actually go and talk to people very easily. Overall, I thought the show was good. I was impressed how they pulled it off. Microsoft did a very good job keeping their infrastructure in place. They had Rich DeMuro and Justine Zurich were the hosts of the events that as people would come to the homepage and gave you directions how to go to the page and how do you go and look at the videos, and video quality was amazing. I mean, I just already downloaded. They're letting us download all of the videos for the keynotes and such, and they're just really high quality. So I was impressed with that as well. It definitely was some great stuff. And all three of us are going to have some highlights of what we saw for this week. I did do a couple interviews, but I'm saving them because I want to make sure you give everybody, there was a lot to absorb this week. And of course, timing isn't exactly easy this week getting this stuff. So next week I will have some great interviews and related to some of these iOS products that I came across. But Kelly, I'd love to hear your take on it. You guys have been covering it all this week on the Mac Observers and the Daily Observations podcast. And what stood out for you as far as CES in general?
Well, one thing was you, because you and I bumped into each other in
that was so funny
conferences. So that was to me, that was awesome, because that's how CES works. You randomly bump into someone that at at another booth. Oh, hey, how's it going? So that was really, to me, that was just more like, that was funny, but it was like sort of a nice callback to what actual CES was like. I really liked the opportunity kind of to get to talk to everybody that I wanted to talk to. The thing that was missing this year from previous years is discovery, like randomly walking by a booth and going, that looks really cool. I should go, I'm going to go investigate that. Other than that, though, having everything organized nicely and put together, here's like the list of the booths, and you can go here. The video quality on everything was pretty great.
Amazing.
Everybody that had the Zoom meetings was really on top of it. There were only a couple where it was either hard to see or hard to hear someone. But and there's only so much you can do to mitigate that in some cases. So I enjoyed the variety of all the folks that I got to talk to, and I enjoyed what bits I was able to do, which was not a ton. Like I said, like I have a day job, and so part of my day job is not CES. So it was kind of like where I could fit things in. So it was nice to get the opportunity to do it, as opposed to I would have had zero CES exposure basically. If it had not been online, I would have just been home the whole time, not doing anything, and just having like Dave and John come on Daily Observations and tell me about all the stuff they saw in Vegas today. So I did sort of appreciate that we kind of all had the same experience, sort of like with WWDC, how it kind of got democratized for everybody that got to go. But I thought I think it was basically as good as it could have been for not being in person. Because there's a lot of stuff I don't miss, like navigating traffic, accidentally double booking meetings, trying to navigate through
those buses,
all those buses, trying to navigate like the crowd of chain smoking Asian men that all stand right outside the convention center. Like past them. I don't miss any of that stuff.
No, didn't miss it at all.
But the other pieces of it, that were kind of fun. Like I do kind of miss that, but I feel like it's definitely a fair trade this year.
Yeah. Warren, did you get to experience anything? I know you just signed up for the first time at CES. I know you've never been to their in person, but did you get to experience anything this week?
I ask my wife every year if I could go to the Vegas. She doesn't trust me alone in Vegas, so that's the problem. There's one day, so we would go together, but then she's like, well, I don't want to go because I don't want to go to CES and I want to go to Vegas. We love Vegas anyways.
Yeah. So for her, it'd be crazy, I think.
Well, I mean, I know. So, So before the thing started, you could go in and you could kind of pick out your agenda.
Right.
So I did that, and I went through all the vendor lists because I was more excited about the vendors stuff than the keynotes. I kind of found some of them boring, but so I went through it, and the problem I had is exactly what Kelly said. Discoverability is very hard because there was like maybe 20 vendors I knew of, and the rest were like I didn't know, but I wanted to know more. And to figure out what they are about, you have to. First of all, you couldn't even do it the first day. You couldn't even do it until the second day. You couldn't see you couldn't click on links. So I couldn't even to do it, I would have to like research everything instead of just clicking on it to see what company they are. And then after, Tuesday, you could start clicking on it, but then you would have to click on everything one at a time, scroll down to see what the products are. I would have loved just to have like one web page that says, here's all the vendors and this is their product. Because their filter was not that good. It was basically whether they're United States.
I agree. It was hard for me to find things I wanted.
United States. It was United States, and then there was five or six categories like healthcare, travel, things like that. So it wasn't really broken down. So I didn't like that. But I had no problems with the quality. I was I did a lot of rewatching because I was busy this week. Which
that's what's great about this. You sign up. There's
nice thing about it.
Tons of on demand, and you can go back and watch for the next 30 days. So and you can download them too. So if you want to copy it, which I've done a bunch of those. So
like Kelly said too. I mean, I prefer getting the gist of it from like Dave and John more than probably going through the whole thing, because for us, I mean, they know what we really are into, and some of the products that you guys didn't talk to, I'm into, like the ice cream maker. That's a big one. I think I'm gonna get. And other than that, a couple, maybe some ports and plugs, but there was nothing really huge for Apple, I don't think.
So I added a list of stuff here in our show notes of the things that caught my eye. And Kelly, if you have anything you can think of after I go through a couple of these, you can feel free to add yours in. The first one was the Hitachi had come out and launched a Dock 5 multi-device charging station, which actually is similar to the Scotia product too. This dock is actually going to be able to charge up to 5 devices at once, including your AirPods. So the picture that's here, this is in Mac Rumors here. I've got 2 iPads, 2 iPhones, and an AirPods Pro here that's wirelessly charging and all plugged in. So it's pretty cool. And it's got Qi charging that can only goes up to 10 watts on that. 20 watts is these USB-C ports, and it's got 2 12-watt USB-A ports. And they say it's ideal for workspaces, kitchen countertops, nightstands. I don't know if I don't want that on my nightstand, but
I don't want that on my nightstand. But like
that's a lot of devices on a nightstand. So
on the end of the counter, maybe like something in the kitchen or something like that. So Techie always makes interesting stuff. That's so whatever they have to announce, I'm always kind of interested. I think they had some keyboards
I like them.
This year as well, that were like backlit and cool looking. So those were awesome, and like they were one of the companies I was curious to see what they were going to actually announce, because I had seen that they had something that they were putting out at CES, and I was interested to find out what that was ultimately going to be, because like I've bought Sateki stuff. As a person who reviews a lot of gear, I feel like that's a pretty good sign, is that I will go buy one, like if it like, and I've bought them for other people. Like I feel like that's I mean, whatever you think of my opinion about it, like that's a sign of approval. Like if I have to go spend money on one, there's a few brands that I will buy, and Sateki is one of those. So
Sateki,
so
Aki,
this thing looks Sateki, Aki,
Anchor. Yeah, those are my top 3.
Yeah, that's where I would. Yeah, I need a this. Which one of those companies makes one? Okay, right. I'll get that one. Yeah.
So this priced at $59.99, which actually is not too terribly expensive, because the Scotia one I have was expensive. It was like $130.
Yeah. Do you have that like Lego one from Scotia? Like you buy the little pieces and assemble your supercharger?
Yep. Yeah, I have it up there now. I bought it right there. Yeah, I bought it last year. They have now a black one, but I bought one just like this. And I like it because you could take it apart, and then if you only want the phone, you want the phone charger and the watch charger. That's all you need, and you cap it off, and you're done. So I've been actually very happy with that. Yeah, I've been very happy with that. So, then the other one was in fact, we do have a Scotia here, and was a really interesting one. This is made by a company called Binatone. It's called the Mask Phone. And what this does is it actually is an optical face mask that has filtration. It's got N95. So obviously with this day and age, everybody wearing masks because of COVID. Really great thing. But it also has a built-in Bluetooth. So you actually can make phone calls while you have your mask on, stay protected so you don't have to take it off. And I thought this was really cool. I know John F. Braun and you guys reviewed it today on the Mac Observer's Daily Spatial podcast. But this is very cool. Combines health and entertainment. So it's going to allow you to be able to, this is one of the first of this kind that I even knew about. And I saw these guys at PepCon, that's where they were. And built-in microphone, very fashionable. It's got the filtration system. So it's all out. And the pricing is not bad. It's only $50, $49.99. So is this something you would like, Rowan? You like to get the mask like this?
Well, let me tell you about the mask. So I work in retirement communities, a bunch of them. Right. So we're always masking up. We have to. But I'm also the IT guy there. So I'm always, either listening to a podcast or on a phone call. So the thing is, if I have my AirPods in while I'm working, everybody's like, "Are you on the phone?" They don't want to talk to you because they think you're not listening to them.
Because you're on the phone.
So to alleviate that, I got a pair of these the shockwaves, the things that go underneath your ear.
Which are AirShocks, AfterShocks.
AirShocks, yeah, AfterShocks.
Yeah,
that's it.
I know the ones you mean. Yeah.
So those work really well too, and they don't know that you're on the phone because there's nothing in your ears, except now that when you wear a mask, the way that they go onto your ears, the mask gets tangled up with the thing. So it's terrible. This is the answer. The answer. So I'm going to definitely get these when they come out.
Yeah, I think for the price, $50, can't beat it.
Did they give a timeline on this?
It's available now.
What? Okay.
Yeah, the link's in the show notes. Yeah, you can add it to your cart and buy it through PayPal.
I'm ordering.
You can even get four interest-free payments of $12.50 if you so choose.
That's quite
hey.
But I might give two. I don't know.
But yeah, check that out. Go ahead.
I was curious I asked John about this and he wasn't sure on the show. What I wanted from it was for it to work sort of as a microphone, because I know a lot of people who don't necessarily project have a very kind of a quiet voice. And when you add a mask to that, like, not only can I not hear you, but I can't see that your mouth is moving and like catch some of it anyway. And like be able to, oh, wait, you're talking to me. I need to really concentrate and like see as well as hear you so that I can catch the stuff that doesn't make it all the way to my ears. And I would really like that out of a mask. So if this does that too, then Warren, put one in the cart for me.
I would love it.
Because that sounds phenomenal. But the Bluetooth, like the Bluetooth phone thing, like I think that's one of those things that we saw this year that very much was I felt very much like it was a 2020 product. Like we wouldn't have seen it if it hadn't been for 2020.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm really glad it exists. It's super helpful. So I
just hit the order and it's on its way.
Excellent.
So, right, you don't even waste any time, do you? Well, we'll anxiously wait to hear your review of it.
Hello and welcome to Spending Warren's Money on
yes.
In Touch with iOS.
No, you got to review the ice cream maker. Review the ice cream maker. Come on, let's do it.
So the footnote is that occasionally we will get a food and drink related pitch in the PR inbox at the Mac Observer. So we got like one every day for like 3 days, like just before Christmas last year. And so I said to Dave Hamilton, I was like, okay, if we keep getting these, Andrew and I have decided we want to start the Snack Observer. And so when we start the Snack Observer, we will totally review the ice cream machine more.
Do that, and then somebody else keeps talking about this oven. It's like a microwave. It's like an air fryer oven system that they send you, and they get meals with it. That's the other one I like.
Oh yeah. I saw that. That was interesting.
Yeah, that might be something.
I don't remember either, but like you put in the cartridge, and and a meal comes out later or something.
Well, they send you the meals, and you scan it, and it knows what it is.
And then the oven knows what to do from the QR code on the package, and you put it in the thing. Yeah.
So that's the future right there.
Yeah.
So next thing that caught my eye too, these folks reached out to me. This is a company called Owl Home, and what it is this is a all-in-one smoke, carbon monoxide, motion, noise, temperature, humidity detector, all built in one device with a built-in alarm. And it does mount to your ceiling. It's wireless. It mounts right up to your ceiling. And I thought the neat thing was the fact that it works. It's integrated to your iPhone, so you have full access, and it anything it's monitoring, it's actually going to tell you on the app that's on your iPhone. It's got a built-in security system, built-in siren, very easy to install. Just basically mount and you go, and away you go. A lot of ultimate control with it, using a lot of smart sensors, full HomeKit support, which I know, Kelly, you like that, and even works with Google Home, the A Lady, and if this then that. And I would hope it works with the S Lady as well. It still hasn't been released as of yet. They offered to get me a review unit, so I said, sure, I'd be happy to review it for you, but it probably won't be towards the end of this year. Yeah. So, and I think the cost wasn't, I don't know if they put the cost in here. Wasn't too terribly expensive. Let's see. If I click pre-order now, it'll probably tell me.
$139, it says.
Yeah, $139. Yeah, it says it's going to be available in October of this year. Yeah. So,
and a $10 black tax.
If you want the black one, right?
Yeah, the black one is
black
$10
or
more.
white.
Yeah.
So it's HomeKit compatible, so you could do routine. So if it detects smoke, you could have it play "This House Is on Fire."
Yeah.
So and like flash bright lights.
We haven't started the fire.
Yeah, we didn't start the fire.
Yeah. So.
Kelly, why is the basement playing the Bloodhound Gang? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, something's on fire. That's a carbon. That's a carbon monoxide. You got to get out.
Yeah, it's time to go.
It was a good HomeKit item. So I'd be interested to look at that. So
I'm glad they're doing it like all in one kind of, because it does the smoke and the carbon monoxide. And I think it did something else too, or maybe I'm confusing it with another home sensor device. But it's nice to see the 2-in-1 stuff, especially like as smoke detectors kind of age out, and then being able to get combination devices that will tell your phone, and that sort of thing. Because it's really nice to, I know we're home a lot more now, but sometimes we might not be home. And when we're not home, it would be nice to know what's going on when we're home. So this is a good way to do that.
I have another question. This is more serious, but it's not. But if you're cooking and it goes off, can you say, "Hey, Essie, can stop it"? Because that would be a feature. I would buy it if it did that.
Yeah,
maybe
that'd be interesting.
Because otherwise, you have to do this with the sheets.
Yeah.
So if you could say, "Hey, turn off that smoke alarm." Yeah.
I used to have a device called a Leo. They are now defunct, and I'm very sad. That would listen to stuff in your house, and it would tell you, "This is what I like." And then you could set up like what sort of notification system you wanted. So it would call you. It would make a phone call and say, "Hi, this was just recorded in your house." And then they would just play for you what it was hearing.
The noise.
And then it would go, "Is this legit?" And you like push 1 if like, yes, this is legit, I'm going to go resolve it. Or 2 is like, but not like, I know what you heard, but that's not what you heard. And then and that also helped like train it. So I thought it was a really, really nice idea. I was so sad that they're gone. Because it was great.
Amazon has its guard. It's called Amazon Home Guard or something like that, which listens for glass breaking and listens for a couple of different noises, and it will alert you if it hears something like that.
Yeah.
But, the home stuff is great. I got one of the faucets now where I could tell the Alexa to fill up the cup of water or stop or start. But it's all good.
But we could go on for hours. There's so many products that, but I tried to trim this down to as many that would catch the eyes of folks that like their iOS. And next one I wanted to talk about real briefly is the Kensington. Kensington came out with a Studio Dock, which combines an iPad Pro docking station with iPhone and AirPods chargers, and it actually got the CES 2021 Innovation Award. So it greatly expands your iPad Pro's connectivity option with 3 USB AV-A ports, one USB-C port, and an HDMI 2.0 port and also a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, because everybody still needs one of those, right? And then plus it has the SD card reader, a gigabit Ethernet port. The whole setup is all powered by a 20-volt DC power adapter. The 11-inch iPad Pro and the 12.9-inch iPad Pro and the 10.9-inch iPad Air models will work, and they'll magnetically attach to this device because all three of those, of course, are USB-C, and looks really great. It does rotate for both portrait and landscape modes. Kensington has not revealed the price of this sucker yet, so you can sign up on their website to receive updates. So I'd be interested to see what this costs. I would venture to say this about $150 at least.
It's got a lot of aluminum. I could see.
This is a $200 situation, I think.
Yeah,
$200. Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, it's going to be pricey. So
yeah,
check that out. That Mac Rumors put that information on there for us, and there was announced at CES. Two Belkin items I wanted to talk about, and then I have one other item that's new for hearing impaired. The first Belkin item is, of course, they've already got a 3-in-1 device that will charge your Apple Watch, your iPhone, and your AirPods Pro. This one was interesting. If you don't have an Apple Watch, this is just a simple 2-in-1 wireless charger stand. It's MagSafe, of course. That will also charge the AirPods Pro, and it's got a little shallow indentation on the base that allows you to be able to just set it down and charge those two items. And this might be nice if it's sitting on on your nightstand or wherever. And not a bad little charger. It's Belkin, and Belkin's has partnered with Apple, so they're selling a lot of these products at the Apple Store, online at stores. Cool little device. It plugs right in, and $99.99, and it's coming soon. It hasn't come out just yet, and you can go on their website. I got a link there to notify you about that. And then they also came out with a new earbuds that will compete with the AirPods Pro. I thought was pretty cool. And this was, of course, my link didn't want to open here. Let's see if it let me. I just clicked it, and it didn't.
Oh, yeah.
The Soundform, it's called. Here we go. And these are true wireless earbuds. They're brand new. With Belkin just announced them at CES. Again, this hasn't come out just yet. Pricing's going to be around $99, $99.99. It's going to have advanced environmental noise cancellation. And we talked about this. There's so many noise cancellation options out there. That it's really interesting with these earbuds. But the one thing that is interesting, which is unique, of course, it charges with Qi charging, but also what's unique about these, this does have the Find My integration. I haven't seen a third-party earphone or headphone, for that matter, that has Find My as a availability for that, as well as its water resistance. So I thought that's kind of what stood out to me wanting to talk about mentioning these products through Belkin. So
that's the thing that I've noticed is the noise cancellation has adjusted a lot. It used to be that there weren't a lot of true wireless headphones that had it now, and not only do a number of them have it, but some of them are also allowing you to adjust. Like, I want a little bit of background noise, or I want, like Apple's AirPods Pro is a binary system. Like, I can hear everything outside of my headphones, or I cannot. And there are other ones now that have like an app that you install that lets you adjust levels, and that's interesting. So it's been kind of fun to watch the evolution of some of these go out. And again, it's just people paying more attention to audio, and I will never be mad about that.
No, not at all.
It's and a lot of it's with the speakers now, because on the microphones, you could add extra microphones to pick up the ambient noise to pump into your ears if you need to. So I think that's a thing that Apple, at least, I never heard of the technology before Apple did it. So so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm interested. And the Find My is very interesting in those. I know a lot of people who would be very interested in having Find My headphones. So yeah, that's cool.
And other product I found interesting, this was at Pepcom's experience. So we saw is a company called Nupul, I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's a breakthrough audio device that they came out with for the hearing impaired. It's going to be a device that plugs to the bottom of your iPhone using the Lightning adapter, and it allows you to be able to plug this in and actually be able to help you be able to hear all the sounds around you, because sometimes it gets very loud. You may not be able to hear somebody as they speak. This was pretty innovative product here. It was debuted at CES, and I don't know yet as far as when it's going to get released. They have a link here. I don't know if you had taken a look at this at all, Kelly, but it was basically very simple, giving you some crisp auditory focus and being able to do much easier to hear things.
Chuck was interested in it over on Mac Voices Live. We talked about it a little bit.
We talked about it. Yeah.
I'm a fan of it because I think that there's probably a lot of people who kind of fall in that valley between I can hear just fine and I could really use a hearing aid, and maybe they just need a little bit of help. It's sort of like the reading glasses you can buy like at Walgreens or whatever, like a lightweight, like I need a little bit of help, but I don't need a ton of help. And so I'm going to put these on, and like, they're $10 at the store or whatever. And it's like a commodity sort of an item and not like an actual assistance device, like actual glasses or actual contacts would be. And I feel like this is that for hearing aids. And I'm really interested to see where it goes. And I hope it ends up being really popular because, at some point, we're going to get to go out again. There's going to be a lot of background noise in restaurants and stuff. And it seems like that's the kind of thing where this would really shine, is I'm at a restaurant or I'm at a bar and it's like there's a lot of background noise and maybe my voice is kind of quiet and you have, I mean, not mine, but but maybe you have a hard time hearing someone who is not me. Sitting at a restaurant or whatever, or they have a hard time hearing you because of all the background noise, and it makes it really hard to track that conversation. And so something like this could really help folks. And I like anything that will help make somebody's life better in a particular way is usually something that I'm 100% for. And this is just another item on that list.
Absolutely. And then one last item I had on here before we get close to the end here. Scotia debuted a new car mount that's compatible with Apple's MagSafe charger, which I thought was great. They announced the launch of a new range of vehicle mounts that will be designed to work with the MagSafe wireless charger. These mounts are not standalone, and they've been created as mounting enclosures to allow the MagSafe charger to be used in the car, which is pretty cool. And different range of mounts. Scotia makes some great car mounts. I'm very impressed with the Scotia. Yeah. I always say Scotia or Scotia. I always get it said Scotia.
I've been a fan of theirs since they made gear for my 5th gen iPod. So Scotia and I go way, way back. And like I've had cables and stuff from them. They're another one that's a company that I will buy stuff from. They don't have quite as wide a variety of things as some of the other brands that we mentioned earlier. But if there's a Scotia one, I will generally check it out. They also had something they announced this week that was one of the things I thought was interesting, which is basically a HEPA filter that fits in the cup holder of your car.
Yeah.
And so that looks really nifty for air purifying and stuff for a bunch of reasons. And like their video about it was very cute. I did get a kick out of it. But it seems like a very nice thing, particularly like if you are a rideshare driver, if that's your hustle right now, like this would be a really nice way to kind of maintain, or if you're doing like a lot of Instacart stuff and you end up with like a lot of weird things in your car and that kind of thing, then it can be helpful. So I did spend a fair amount of time talking to the Scotia guys this year. They had some other interesting stuff. And one of the things I always like about their approach is it always feels like somebody who actually uses this stuff is the person who went, what would be awesome would be if this thing that goes in the lighter of your car had 2 ports or was super compact or had enough power or was USB-C, like the stuff that they're doing now. Like a lot of the stuff that they design, it always very much feels like somebody actually used this and went, what would make this awesome is if we did that, and then they go do that, and then it's better.
Absolutely. And then they're going to go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about it when you're done. Or
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, at first I was worried about these because if you read some of the comments, it says the same thing, but like if you hit a bump, you got a problem because the phone's going to fall down. So 2 things: it locks you into the MagSafe environment if you get one of these. So you cannot use even cases that say they're compatible with MagSafe. I've noticed if it's not a real one, it will fall off because I've started playing with it too. I got a cheap knockoff.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so I got something off Amazon which looks like this thing. These kind of car mounts, but a lot cheaper. I had to crazy glue it back together. It fell apart. But what I found out is with the MagSafe case and these type of holders, it holds pretty well. So that's good to know. But you do have to buy real MagSafe cases for it to really hold. Otherwise, it ends up on the floor, and ends up on the floor, and it cracked my my protector.
Oh no!
I had to get a new protector for the first time in a while. So
as long as it's not the phone.
David and I are over here going,
Not your phone.
That was the long. That dramatic pause was too dramatic, Warren. My heart can't take that.
Well, it was a really nice protector, and I kind of miss it. I didn't want to have to spend the other $5 to get the new one from Amazon. So.
Well, you buy the Anchor one, and then they send you 2 at a time.
This was actually funny story. I bought a 3-pack. It came today. The first 2 did not go on right, so I'm like, this one has to do it. I got it on perfectly, except there was a little piece of dust in there, so I tried to get it off and I ruined it. So now I ordered a couple more. So
yeah, get the Anchor ones. They're awesome.
And this is all because my phone fell off.
A MagSafe charger.
A MagSafe.
MagSafe charger. I hope I'm pronouncing those air quotes correctly.
Safe. The Scotia adapter does come with a 20 watt USB power delivery car adapter that will be enough power to charge the iPhone 12, or a 15 watt for the iPhone 12 mini. And then they also said there was going to be some magic mounts, options that will be available, including a window dash mount, a cup holder mount, and a 4-in-1 kit that will include a swing arm dash. So Scotia does some unique stuff. A lot of that stuff that won't be available until later in the spring here. So, but
this is an ecosystem that they're going through. They're going for with this is all kinds of stuff, because they'll have like the home equivalent so that you can put it on a stand at home, that magnet it to a little elevated stand on the end of the counter, and it'll charge there too, and all kinds of stuff. So
All right, so let's move off of CES. I got a tip, and then we got a couple of app picks, and then we'll wrap things up here. This has been driving me absolutely crazy. So I was on a Seek and a Seek how to fix this. And believe it or not, I have a CNBC article that I've linked to, which is kind of unique here. You don't get to use them as a tech resource here too often. So how to stop your AirPods from automatically connecting to your other Apple devices. It drives me absolutely crazy. I sit here and I'm connecting my AirPods Pro to my Mac. Then if I go pick up my iPhone, it's going to start connecting. Then it happened to me a couple weeks ago, and Chuck's on the show. It's like, my headphones are on. I can't figure it out. I'm sure Warren can remember that, because I had to do some edits here. So that ultimately ended up what happened here. But if you're sitting listening to music, and then all of a sudden you get close to your iPhone, and all of a sudden it's going to, there's your iPhone. Let me switch. So I think I like the old method better. So what you do is when the iPhone is connected to your AirPods Pro, you go into the settings, into that, you go into Bluetooth, you look for your AirPods Pro, you click the I, and then you can scroll down, and what you do is you go to where it says connect to this iPhone, and you have 2 choices: automatically or when the last connected to this iPhone. So if you check that off, it will stop asking. So
hooray!
A good tip here, and it's got all the steps in this article, so check that out if you don't want it automatically connecting. Luckily, I don't have my iPad. I probably should go take a look at that one too, as it probably would do the same thing if I was near it that quickly. So
you could do it on the Mac too. I'm looking to
on the Mac. The Mac can do it as well. Yeah.
So you actually have to go under Bluetooth, which you don't normally do on the Mac. Usually go through audio, but it's there too.
So all right. We got two quick things on apps here. Last week I talked about this app, the remote app. If you remember, we talked about this remote app that actually lets you connect your TV to this app and allows you to be able to control the TV. Well, I found out the hard way it doesn't work with older TVs, and I in fact tweeted the app developer, and he says, "Oh, sorry, because I didn't realize my TVs are this old. I probably shouldn't even say it is, but I have a 65-inch HD Samsung, nice curved TV. I'm very happy with it, and it's got an absolutely gorgeous picture. But it was made in 2016, so it's 5 years old. Can you believe it? But I'm not I'm not buying a new TV. But trust me, I wouldn't. It's a beautiful TV.
Not for the app.
Not to get this app to work. So just be aware, people, if you have any of the Samsung and a lot of these other TVs, the developer did confirm that that doesn't work. So
is it because your TV's 5 years old? Like, how old a TV should you worry about?
Well, he said older than 2 years. So if it's 2 years or older,
if you don't remember buying your TV, this may not work for you.
I couldn't even remember. Yeah, I couldn't even remember. So, so that just be aware of that. So, and then the other app I wanted to mention real quick is this. Actually was an article in 9 to 5 Mac, and I went and I did start just playing around with this a little bit. This is an app called Denim, and it allows you to create stunning cover artwork for your playlists. So if you're a type of person that likes to create playlists and you want to have your own kind of cool cover art that you don't have to use all the cover art that comes with the songs. Well, this app probably be for you. So what it does is allows you to actually go through and it gives you options to be able to create artwork, put it in your playlist, make it look pretty and fancy. And it does work really, really, really well. There is a free version of it on the App Store, but you do need to pay a whopping $1.99 in an in-app purchase to unlock all of the artwork styles. So you can get really fun and customize this app.
And
are you going to be doing it?
Yeah. Like, I'm the person who bought the blank CDs that look like records,
right?
So that I could make mixtapes on them, even though they're not cassettes anymore. We should make mixtapes and send them to each other. It'll be fun. It'll be old school. Yeah, sometimes the old ways are best. This definitely sounds like something I would like, because I have uploaded a custom image for something for a playlist every so often. So this is definitely something for me, especially because and what did me in was looking at the screenshots, and one of them is the cassette with the Sharpie label upon it, and I'm like,
I do that all the time.
I'm done. That's it. There it is. I'm done. Yeah. Like, I had my little fake record label, from so-and-so records that I would give people mixtapes from there, and artwork down the side. And mixtapes were totally my jam. So this is definitely up my alley.
This something you would do, Warren?
I did what Kelly did with the tapes and the Sharpie, but those days are over. I just basically don't even look at my phone anymore. But the artwork's cool. We talked about it before. If I'm looking at the phone, I'm going to go to the lyrics instead of looking at the album art. So All right. Wow, that was a lot of stuff we going through. This hour just flew by here. So let's go ahead and wrap things up for this show. It was a long time, but we had a lot of fun here. And let's go ahead and wrap up. That was a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, or you can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, just go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Kelly, thank you so much for coming back to the show. We really love having you. Please tell everybody where we can find you.
Are you going to make me do it in 10 seconds?
No, I'll allow it. Yeah.
So, you can find me 5 days a week hosting the Mac Observer Daily Observations podcast over at themacobserver.com. You can find me on my own podcast called The After Show with Mike and Kelly, where my friend Mike and I have a podcast together, which is usually just sort of the two of us catching up, because we're not very good at doing it regularly. So you will kind of hear us tell each other what we've been up to lately. You can find that at aftershowpodcast.com. And you can also find me over at the Incomparable Podcast Network, where I am usually talking about Star Wars, but not always. You can and you can find me on Twitter as Verso. If you don't, if you can't get enough of what I have to say, you can go to Twitter, where I'm Verso, and you can get way more of it there.
Yes, you can. And Warren, was anything exciting happening on Mac to the Future this past week?
Same stuff, but thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Kelly, for showing up. It's fun having you. So that's all. Don't worry about me, but it was glad to have you. It was good to have you.
He does it to me every week. Don't worry about me.
Listen to this. Save yourself, he says.
Nobody wants to fight. Nobody's looking for me. Nobody wants to ask me anything. If you want to come, if you like Facebook, come to the Mac to the Future page because it's actually fun. So it's not like most of Facebook. I spend most of my time there because it gets away from everything else.
It wouldn't be Mac to the Future without you having your one-line responses to everybody's comments. So,
because if I look at my personal timeline and I look at what my friends are posting, and it's like political and stupid, and I don't want to get into it, I just stay away from it and I talk to people about Apple. So.
We turned Jeff Gammon on and he joined the group. So did Dave Hamilton. So you got two of our guys in the group, and they do post some stuff. And of course, our wonderful friend Guy Cyril is always there, very active in there, as well as Back to the Future live cast that we had a crazy time yesterday because Guy decided to be crazy and play with his equipment like he always does.
He played with his new toy during the show.
Yeah, which I had the same toy, but we won't get into that. So I really appreciate everybody listening. Yeah, exactly.
Are we still recording?
We're still recording. No, and we're not going to talk anymore. We love you, Guy. We appreciate everybody listening. I really appreciate everybody being here. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.